Folks, it's going to carry us into our next game, which is going to be a big one, the Big Ten Championship. We've got third-ranked Penn State facing off with number one ranked Oregon in the Big Ten Championship at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis at 8 p.m. on Saturday night. The ESPN FPI, wow, has Penn State at 54% chance to win, and the spread, however, in favor of Oregon at 3.5 points, according to ESPN bet lines. So the big question in this game, as someone who I personally, I'm a big fan of Penn State. I like James Franklin. I like the boys from Happy Valley. The question is, can James Franklin finally win the big one? James Franklin is 1-9 against Ohio State in his tenure, with one win being in 2016 in a season in which there was a perfect storm. They ended up making the Big Ten title game, their only Big Ten championship. That was the only time they've beaten Ohio State in recent memory. So they're always little brother. And you go back to the game against Ohio State, and they lost it. I don't think Ohio State won that game. That game was in Happy Valley. Penn State gave it away. You had the ball inside the 5, and what do? Exactly what the defense is expecting. You run up the middle, not once, not twice, but 3 downs in a row, and you go for it on 4th, and you give it away. You need points. You need to win the game. James Franklin, he didn't get out coached. He just was being dumb, because Ryan Day's not a good coach either, just to be fair. With that said, that's the question. Can James Franklin finally win the big one? I am shocked. I'm going first. I've got to pick first here. I'm shocked that Penn State is favored on the ESPN FPI. Unfortunately, I think the answer to that question is still no. I think Oregon wins this game. Give me the Ducks in Indianapolis. Listen, I want Penn State to win this game. I ain't going to sit here and lie to you. I really, really do. But I don't think it happens. I think that Ohio State, even as bad as they are this year, they kept it close, lost by 1 point. We could argue Will Howard crapped the bed. Oregon loopholed the rules, whatever. At the end of the day, Oregon did beat Ohio State. Penn State did not, and Penn State should have, out of all years to beat the guys from Columbus, should have been this year. They didn't do it. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the Ducks. I'll be rooting for Penn State, hands down, unashamedly, but I think the Ducks win the Big Ten this year. And even though Penn State will make the playoff, I think James Franklin, I don't even know anymore. I'm not even going to say I think he has a long way to go. He's been there for 10 years. You got to figure it out, man.
Guys, I honestly think that this Big Ten championship is just going to play out a lot like the plot of Top Gun. You have Ohio State, who's like Cougar. He gets out. Penn State's going to slide in to the Top Gun race, right? And then, but Maverick and Goose, they still end up losing the Top Gun trophy to Oregon, which is why I'm going to pick the Ducks here. I think James Franklin makes it close, but I think Dan Lanning has got a terrific team. And in the end, everybody ends up winning the big fight against the enemy, who's basically the Russians. But I think and so Penn State's still going to make the playoffs. Oregon's going to win this game. And so I don't know really why I put it that way, but it just reminded me of Top Gun, which is one of my favorite movies. So heck yeah.
Yeah, real quick, I wanna touch up and say I'm pretty sure the FPI is only because of like distance traveled. I think Penn State has a shorter distance traveled than Oregon would, but I definitely don't see Penn State winning this game. I think that Penn State just can't win those big games, man, and Oregon has been able to show that they can. Now, with my luck, this could be the game where they lose the big game. But this is also a game that doesn't really have much threat towards playoff eligibility. I'm pretty sure both teams will still be in, win or lose. But I'm definitely going to pick Oregon here. I think Oregon's the more exciting team. I think Oregon is the more well-rounded offense. And yeah,